Hello, and this is another video in my series of accordion repair videos, and I've got a nice accordion here, and this has been brought to me by a lovely chap who has this Italian 120 bass accordion from the 1930s. It's a Frontalini Celeste, and I looked at what Celeste means. It means heavenly, so it's I hope it's going to have a heavenly sound. Now this accordion has got a few issues. I've taken off the grill, by the way, so in case you wondered about that, just for safekeeping so it doesn't get damaged. A few things that need to be looked at, and one of them was that the selectors weren't opening and closing and accessing all the reed sounds. So the one on the bass side, and there's two on the treble side. So in this video I'm just going to show you what I'm up to with sorting out the selector on the bass side. So you can see there's a bar here, a bit like the one I've done on my Pancotti, but what was happening was that nothing was happening when that was being pressed. Now on the side here there's a little window, and by the way, this tape here is just me checking the compression by filling up some holes temporarily, so that will be taken off. But on the side here you've got these little windows. I don't know if you can see, I'll just bring it down a little bit. And these are quite neat actually. So when you press the selector, a little needle, a little pointer moves across. So what was happening when it was moving the needle, but it wasn't changing the sound. So for this little clip, I'm going to show you how I'm tackling this one, because it's a little bit different actually. So let me just show you how I did it. Well, how I'm doing it. I'm in the middle of doing it really. So I've taken all the screws out there. I've got screws rather than pins actually, which is interesting, but it's quite nice. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just carefully take it apart and show you then what I'm up to with the bass side. So I'm just going to carefully lift off the treble side, put that down to one side. There you go. I'm going to take off the bellows, put those down as well, and then we're into the bass mechanism. So if I just turn it around slightly like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the camera angle and show you what's going on with this particular accordion to give me a tick. Okay, so if I can just show you the mechanism a bit. This button here with bar pushes in and out, and what that does, it moves this mechanism, a pivoty thing inside. So if I just take the reed blocks out, I've undone them so I can just show you. So I'm carefully take these out. I can just show you this mechanism. So if you can see this little kind of bar, and what that does, it just pivots when the button's pressed. Now there's no problem with the action here, that's absolutely working perfect. There's no stickiness or anything, that's absolutely as it should be. And if I put the bigger bass block on, I'll just show you that first. But what we've got in here is a metal slide that goes all the way through here. Now it's got a little notch here, so when you pop it onto the bass side of the accordion, that little notch will sit on top of that little bar, so as that moves across, that will push the notch and push the slider through the reed block, and it will then engage or close up the holes. So the first thing I did to make sure that this was working is simply to take out the sliders. So if I take this one out to start with, I've taken it out already. Where is it? Here it is. Where did it go? Here we go. No? Yeah, here it is. Take out the sliders and give them a good polish. So actually use some Silvo. Wait a minute, just get it. There we go. Some of this and a soft cloth or t-shirt, and I just give it a really good polish without Be careful not to bend it. And once that's been polished, and then making sure I put it back in the right way, pop it in, see how free it is. Now up to here, it's going in quite well, but when you go a bit further, I can feel it stick. Oh, there. So what I'm going to do, I need to clear the channel which it's running in, because I think what's happened, when this has been serviced, not by myself but somebody else, and they re-waxed in the reeds, some of the wax has gone down into one of the channels and it's just causing that to stick. So let's have a look. If I turn it upside down, I'll look inside. As I'm looking into the channels, there's one, bring it over to here, probably can't see it on camera, but anyway, there's one which I can see it's got quite a lot of wax inside the little channel where the metal strip goes, and that's what's catching on the metal slide. This is an aluminium one, this one. Now what I've done is I've made a tool. Let me just change the camera angle and I'll show you my special tool. Give me a tick. Okay, so this tool started life as a pair of tweezers. They're really cheap ones. I got them for like £2 for a whole set of 4. What I've done though is I've bent one of the arms into a right angle, like that, and I just bend the other arm out of the way. Now what happens here now is that I can take the right angle bend and I can go inside and I can just then clear the kind of channel inside the reed block by putting in my little right angle bend and going all the way along, just feeling for any obstructions. Now this will probably work because if there's any wax that's been dripping down, it will be around the holes because that's where the reeds are. So I'm going to now find that bit where I can see all that wax, and I'm just going to remove all of that wax from the channel with my special homemade tool, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I've got it all cleared up. Okay, so I've been working on this Frontalini Italian accordion, and I was working on the bass coupler, and so I'm just going to show you where I've got to with this particular task. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take the treble side and the bass side and the bellows off and just put those carefully down there. So now we've got to the mechanism, and I'll show you where I am now. Actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the camera angle so you can see inside and see more carefully or closely what's going on. So just give me 2 secs. Okay, that's better. So inside this bass side we've got a row of piccolo reeds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 12 piccolo reeds with the highest pitch ones, and they're actually glued. That reed block is actually part of the bass side, is glued in, so you can't take the reed block out, you just have to take the reeds out. And then you've got 4 sets of reeds, 2 on that one, 2 on that one, and then you've got your coupler switch, which is here, which also moves the window, little pointer in the window to tell you what you've selected. Now if I just get my screwdriver just to undo these side screws, and I can just take things apart a little. So just undo these, and then these will come out. 1, 2, like that. Now when you press the coupler switch, this little brass arm just flicks like that. Now the issue with this accordion was that the coupler wasn't selecting or deselecting the reeds as it should be. So this bit's working fine and it's working really smoothly, as you can see. The problem is that the little arm sits in the little groove here, and that pushes the slider in and out. So if I just pull the slider out, this slider's got holes in, and as the slider moves it will either close up or open the hole. Now the problem with this accordion is that these sliders, there's one here as well, have just got a bit too much friction in them for them to move smoothly, and they need to be as frictionless as possible to work, because you've only got a small amount of force here with this little arm. Now what I've tried is to free up these slides. So I've taken the slides out and I've polished them and I've made sure they're nice and flat, and I've also invented a couple of new tools. So this is one of my favourite ones. This is a nice little ruler, and I've stuck some 240 grit sandpaper on with double-sided tape, and that just fits perfectly in there, and I can put that in from both ends to clear the channels. So I have done that on these reed banks. But the problem, and I've also invented another little tool, which is this, which is just an old pair of pliers, tweezers that I've bent into right angle, and what that allows you to do is for each reed hole, I just can get in and try and clear any wax from inside where that reed was waxed in. So it's been good for inventing little tools, but the problem is, although I have improved the movement of the slides, it isn't good enough. And so although they are moving quite well, when you put them into here there's just too much friction, so when you try and push the button, nothing moves. So if I put them back in, I'll show you what I mean. So let's just set this in. So I'm just going to put these back in. Right, there's just put that one in like that. And I'll try and give you a close-up of what's happening. Put that one in like that. I'll just do these screws back up again, just for a tick. Right, so if I just give you a little look here, I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can see, this is where the brass arm is sitting in the slide. Now what should happen is when you push this, that should move the brass arm and that should move the slide in and out. As you can see, nothing's happening, and the reason nothing's happening is it's just too much friction in the system for it to do anything. It's not a massive force on that little brass arm, and it does rely on those slides being almost frictionless. Now I've tried my best with this, but I've got to the point where if I try any harder to free up those channels, there's a danger that some damage will be caused, because there's only a thin piece of wood sitting there, and if I start scraping away too much, I actually could go through that wood and cause some permanent damage to that reed block. So I have tried to free it up, I have tried all kinds of stuff just to try and make that slide move in and out, but it's just not free enough, and at this point I think, no, I'm going to stop here, because I don't want to cause some damage that's irreversible. So the solution, or a partial solution anyway, is to have all of the reeds playing, and so regardless of how you move this little switch, all of the reeds, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of reeds playing all the time, so you get that rich bass sound. But just have to accept that these sliders don't really want to move as they should. It is a 90-year-old accordion, and it's just said, I've had enough. I'm not doing any more sliding in and out of these reeds, give me a little break. And I think it deserves a little break, being 90 years old. So what I've done is, or what I will do now, is set the slides so that the reeds are open. So that one's open. I'll do the same thing for this one. So make sure these are fully open, like that. And if I put them back in the open position, regardless of what you do with this, they will stay open. So what I'll do now is just move the arm to match that, and then I put the other one in and make sure the arm's in the right place for that. So I'll just put that in like that. There we go. So what we've got now is all the reeds will play. Pushing that isn't doing anything, so it just means that you're always going to have all 5 sets of reeds playing at the same time, and that, I think, is the best answer in this. That is the best answer in this problem. So you've still got the rich sound, but there is a limit to what you can do. So this is quite a nice video to show, because you can't always get everything working perfectly, and there's a risk when you're working with instruments such as this that if you try to do too much, you might cause damage which can't be reversed. And so that's why in this particular case I've decided to stop, leave that now as it is without going any further, so you're still keeping the nice sound of that bass side of the accordion. So that's the end of this little video. So just a little one really to show you can't always fix everything. So hope that was useful, and yeah, see you on the next one.